The information provided on this podcast is intended to be educational and informational only and is not considered to be formal legal advice. The listener should not take or refrain from taking action based on its content. Any listener in need of legal opinion upon which to rely in decision-making should consider formally engaging an attorney to review relevant facts in detail and examine the pertinent law as it applies to those facts.
Hello, this is Mo Bina of High Rise Capital, and you're tuned into Dream Chasers, interviews with the future.
So when you can think from the perspective of title creation first, then everything else kind of starts to fall into place. Right now, while it's fresh in your mind, go to raisemasters.com. That's raisemasters.com. On that website, you'll find that we have an upcoming webinar that will teach you 3 capital raising strategies for free. No, this is not some kind of watered down presentation that's no good. These are groundbreaking, new age capital raising strategies that are meant to be learned in the order in which we give them to you. And we sincerely believe that if you take the time to learn these strategies and implement what is taught, the next 90 days of your life will be fantastic. Again, it's free. There are no tricks to this presentation, by the way. Go to raisemasters.com and register while the getting's good.
This is Dream Chasers, episode 169, featuring Adam's appearance at the Financial Freedom Through Apartment Investing meetup.
Hey guys, this is Adam Carswell, and today I'd like to share with you a guest speaking appearance that I did recently at the Financial Freedom Through Apartment Investing meetup, hosted by my friend Marc Cesar. Marc was actually recently a guest here on Dream Chasers, so it's cool how things kind of come full circle. But I had a great time getting to connect and share information with his group, and I thought this would just make an excellent episode. There's a lot of golden nuggets shared in this presentation and the Q&A session as well. So here we go. Get ready for my guest speaking appearance at Financial Freedom Through Apartment Investing, the meetup hosted by Marc Cesar, who is an affiliate of the GOB network of apartment investors. Here we go.
All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Marc Cesar, and I am the proud host of Financial Freedom Through Apartment Investing, an affiliate of the GOB network of apartment investors. Today, I have with me a very special guest, a good buddy of mine. If I could take a minute just to brag, this guy is awesome. He's just an amazing person. You know, like I don't know any other words to really describe him, but we have Adam Carswell with us today. Just brief background on Adam. I know he has like a very lengthy bio, very detailed, but I'll give you he'll just fill in the gaps. So we know that. So Adam is a real estate entrepreneur, LinkedIn powered networker. He is also new media marketing maverick, and known as the voice of Liberty for his work hosting the Liberty Land Show, Liberty Land 5th Anniversary in the Chicago Blockchain Real Estate Collective. His expertise in social media marketing and network management set him apart from the crowd. Adam is also a member of Raise Masters, the #1 mastermind for elite capital raisers, and is co-founder of the Next Level Mastermind. So that just sort of sums it up. I will let our esteemed guest to fill in the blank. Adam, I want to welcome you to the platform and thank you for taking the time out to share your knowledge and your wisdom with us. So feel free to fill in whatever I may have missed out or left out intentionally. So I think you would do it more justice than I can.
Hey, Marc, honored to be here. And I just got to say, since we got connected, which, it seems like at least a couple of years ago, it's crazy to think that it was probably less than a year ago. It's been amazing to watch you on your journey from, I think it was a Yona Weiss meetup up until now, running your own meetup. Man, it takes hard work. I think people don't realize, and I know Lawrence, who's in here with us right now too, we were talking before, people don't realize it takes hard work to run a consistent and good meetup. And it takes time too. Like, I think a lot of people will get into this space and do 2, 3, 4 meetups, and maybe they get 10 people show up, and then 2 people show up, and on the time when they get 2 people showing up, they go, you know what, this isn't for me, and they just quit and they just give up. And it just, to see how persistent you've been, not only with this but also apartment investing and networking, I think success is inevitable for you, and to know that you're moving now to Charlotte, North Carolina, where everyone knows it's one of the best places to be for this business right now. You're going to be in a very good position. So I just got to say I'm proud of you, and I'm again honored to be here and speaking with your group. Happy to kind of give the life story in like 2 or 3 minutes if that's what we're ready for here. But let me just, I guess, pause and flip it back to you to confirm on that.
Listen, man, the platform is yours. I'm sort of a free spirit when it comes to this platform. I let the guest speaker just have his way, and whenever you feel as content to fill us up with knowledge, then we'll break to the next session.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm trying to think with my marketing hat on right here. It's the way you would go about this is hook, story, offer. I think from a hook perspective, hopefully I've got everyone's attention here so far. One way I like to grab everyone's attention is they'll say, "Hi, Grandma. Hope you're watching. If you ever see this, Grandma, shout out to my grandma. Alma Babuda, you're the best." There we go. That's the hook. So now it's time for the story. Who am I? Adam Carswell, born and raised in the Cleveland, Ohio area, Painesville, Ohio, to be specific. Speaking of Northeast Ohio, I just got to say a quick shout out to my buddy, Ryan, who is here with us in the meetup today. Happy to see you here, man. I think hopefully we have some fun here today. But yeah, from Northeast Ohio, always wanted to play college basketball growing up, probably because my dad did and always looked up to him. So I went and did that and played college hoops at Westminster College, which is in Western Pennsylvania, about an hour north of Pittsburgh. Also ran track and field there, and recently just got notified by the Titans that this so I'm getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to be at the ceremony this year, so the ceremony is going to be next year. So don't tell anyone yet. We're trying to make it a surprise, but just found out I got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So and my dad is in the Hall of Fame at John Carroll University, so it's pretty cool to know like I kind of did my own thing, but also followed in my father's footsteps. Track and field was really where I kind of worked my way in there. We won 3 conference titles with track. I broke, I don't know, 5 or 6 different records, won 6 gold medals. It was pretty dope. Basketball was cool too, though. And basketball is ultimately what helped me start seeing the world. I continued to play after college, moved to Central America, Belize, where I pursued coaching basketball, got to play, as I mentioned as well, collegiately as I worked on my master's down there, and then also on the semi-professional level. Got into coaching also while I was in Belize. And next thing you know, because I was there to pursue my dream as a college basketball coach, getting my master's degree, that's why I was getting it. I ended up becoming the head coach of Galen University, where I was studying simultaneously. Crazy story. Hit me up later if you want to talk about that. But my dream ended up coming true at age 23. I became a college basketball coach. And then on top of that, we won the national championship. Once when I was a player, once when I was a coach. And it's just like, wow, life is great. How's this all happening? But you get to a point and you realize, okay, I'm in Belize where I'm making good money as a college basketball coach, but you know what? This ain't gonna pay the bills for all these loans I got from my American university. I start paying off. So, and you know what? I kind of achieved that goal, that dream, and I realized, you know what? Maybe I kind of want to do something else. So, went back to the States, got a job with the Fortune 500 company. That was kind of my main goal. That company happened to be Sherwin-Williams, the paint company. I managed stores for them in the Washington, D.C. area for a few years. By the way, still got some connections there. So if anyone's looking for a discount on paint, hit me up. I think I can still pull a few strings for you. But, Sherwin-Williams is awesome, but I realized there was a little bit of a ceiling there. And I was like, you know what? I want to have more control over my life, my hours, my future, finances, all of that. I know that from what I've seen, if you want to make a lot of money, you either got to get into technology or real estate. And let me be clear here too. I heard this the other day. If your morals don't align with this, then maybe you shouldn't be focusing on whatever line of business you're in. But at the end of the day, we all want to make more money for 2 reasons. 1, to do more good, and 2, to have more fun. I think if you're not trying to make more for those reasons, then maybe you do have your morals messed up a little bit. So I just wanted to say that because I know for the longest time, I always thought money was the root of all evil. And now I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's get more so we can make everyone's life better. So anyways, real estate is what I picked. I got in as a residential realtor with Remax, was there for a couple years, and then stumbled upon a guy who some of us may know here. His name is Hunter Thompson. And Hunter was on a podcast where it was more of like I don't know how to put it other than I think a lot of people, if they listen to this show, they would probably think I'm crazy as well as Hunter. And that's probably why we get along so well. The name of the show is called Anarchast. If that gives you any idea, Hunter and I both like to joke and say we're your friendly neighborhood anarchists. We're not very fond of anything related to government. So that's probably why we hit it off. So I reached out to Hunter and I'm like, hey, I can't believe there's someone in this space that thinks like you. Commercial real estate, tell me more. Like I was only thinking it through the HGTV portal at that time. And I thought that's all that real estate was. And I started learning from him. And he's like, hey, I'm putting together a program. You want to be in it? I said, yes. That was the beginning of the Cash Flow Connections mentorship program, which both him and I have now been running for about 4 years. I was one of the first students to come through there. And then to keep fast forwarding, I've met some other amazing people along the way, including another mentor of mine, Michael Flight, CEO of LibertyFund.io. That's libertyfund.io. Go check us out there. I've played a pretty big role with Michael helping getting that started. It's just been amazing. But yeah, mainly now what we're looking at is I'm the educational project manager over at ASIM Capital, which under that umbrella is the Cash Flow Connections mentorship program, Raise Masters as well, which is the #1 mastermind for elite capital raisers. Looking back on life, man, I never would have thought I'd be right here, and it's a pretty cool place to be sitting. And I'm still looking up, going like, all right, I want to go to the next level and the next level and the next level. So I might have missed some cool details in there, but I think that gives a good summary. And then, along with that, I've been podcasting along the way, guys. This is my brand, my personal logo behind me. And you'll see that IAX logo scattered throughout anything I can put my hands on. So Marc, thank you for, again, giving me the opportunity to come here and share. And, I just realized that's my story. So now I got to do hook, story, offer, like the good marketer that I am. And the offer is, guys, plain and simple. I think the most impactful way I can change anyone's life here today, we might talk about some content creation stuff and all that good stuff. But right now, if you're looking to see some leaps and bounds in commercial real estate and capital raising in particular, you can go to raisemasters.com. That's raisemasters.com and register for our upcoming webinar. I would love to see you there. Thank you, Marc. What's next?
No problem. I appreciate the story and the background. That's a lot of stuff that I didn't know. So just to start off, I know you said that you transitioned from playing to coaching over to the corporate gig, and now you decided, hey, real estate was it. So what about real estate caught your attention, and what made it like the #1 thing that you wanted to pursue?
I wish I had the little purple book that everyone knows about right in front of me right now. I actually don't, but that's what led me to real estate, was Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And as I mentioned, a huge influence, friend, and mentor in my life, Michael Flight. Him and I joke because he's been in real estate since before I was born. He's like, you're lucky. He's like, I didn't have Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I had to go to the library and read all these boring books. And, he tells me about the seminars he used to go to. It wasn't as easy to get into real estate, even more than 20 years ago. And so for me, that's really, actually, you know what, to be more specific, Marc, I did have a couple epiphany moments. And I hope if anyone out there who's maybe in transition, maybe a W-2 employee or thinking about going into real estate, I had 2 moments that really opened my eyes to entrepreneurship and real estate. And one was when I was at Sherwin-Williams. It's funny how these things happen. I had a client of mine who was top client, always buying, always giving back to me. I'd send him referrals. He sent me referrals. And I knew he liked Cristiano Ronaldo a lot. So I wanted to get him a Ronaldo t-shirt. And the one I ordered him was from like some, AliExpress China website, and it came through and it was cool, but you could kind of tell it was custom made. He's like, oh, this is great. He's like, I need shirts for my team. Did you make this? And I don't know why. I don't know what got into me, but I was like, yeah, I made it. He's like, okay, cool. He's like, I need to order some more shirts for my team. Can you do it? And I'm like, yeah. And he walks out of the store. I'm like, all right, who can I call? I call my buddy Chaz Irish. Shout out to Chaz in the Painesville, Cleveland, Ohio area as well. I'm like, Chaz, I talked to you about this before. Can you do it? He's like, yes, we can do it. I'm like, all right, cool. Next thing you know, we started a little t-shirt company where we were supplying in particular, Hispanic contractors who English wasn't their first language, who couldn't go to a print shop and figure out, they're not comfortable going somewhere. They want to do business where they're comfortable. So yeah, maybe I was kind of leveraging Sherwin-Williams a little bit too much, but I was basically selling t-shirts to Hispanic contractors through my store. And that's when I first realized as an entrepreneur, I'm like, whoa, I just sold this product and I get to keep all of it. I don't have to split it with the company, maybe with my partner. Like, this is all mine. And then that's when I realized, like, man, I gotta be an entrepreneur. And so then I heard someone else who was working at the company at the time tell me they were working on their real estate license. And it was another epiphany for me, because I was like, man, I can't believe someone would think of doing something besides Sherwin-Williams. This is the greatest thing ever. This is the best life ever. How could you ever think of doing anything more? But no, I heard someone say they're getting into real estate. And I'm like, you know what? I've heard rumors that that's pretty much where most of the world's wealth is built. So it might not be a bad idea. So it was a little bit of a combination of those two. I think the real estate license story that I just referenced, that actually happened before the t-shirt one. But either way, those were like my red pill epiphany moments summarized.
Gotcha. Very nice. Very nice. So where does marketing fall into all of this? Because I know you're a big Russell Brunson, advocate and a student of his.
Disciple.
Yeah. So where does all of that fit into what you're looking to do within the realm of real estate marketing and content creation and so forth?
Man, marketing, where does it fall? It's like, where doesn't it fall? There's another brilliant marketer that I look up to a lot as well. His name is Frank Kern. You guys can go to what's the best way? Probably Frank. I'd say Frank Kern, Frank FRANK podcast.com. I think that's it. Either way, look him up. I love both him and Russell Brunson, and I'll get to where marketing falls. But one cool life hack that I kind of got from Hunter is, Hunter basically said, he says this like on his show to other people as well. It's like, identify whatever direction you want to go with your life, whether it's health, wealth, relationships, whichever direction you're going, identify one, maybe two people in that sector and just devour all of the content and everything that they put out. If you got to read it multiple times, listen to it multiple times, it doesn't matter. Just indoctrinate yourself in what they have, and it will expedite your growth and get you closer to their level faster, instead of listening to 100 podcasts on the topic from different voices. So I've actually pretty much purged my podcast library. By the way, I only have for example, 5 shows in there that I actually pay attention to, and I'll just keep listening to Frank Kern and Russell Brunson over and over and over and over again until I pretty much sound like them, which I've noticed some of my delivery style and speaking now. If you guys go listen to Frank Kern, I've kind of adopted some of it without realizing. So where does marketing fall? It's kind of a tough question to ask, I guess, because I'd want to know specifically what maybe what I've mentioned so far that you'd like to know about. But the first thing that comes to mind for me is if you're not building an email list, the email list is the single most powerful tool that I've found over the past 3 years that pretty much every entrepreneur and business owner must have. Maybe even if you're not an entrepreneur or business owner, like just people in general, like everyone should have their own email list, because that's where you can really make a lot of the most impact. And for anyone here who's on my list, I keep you updated, and I get a lot of feedback from that, probably overall more than any other social media platform. So where does marketing fall? I think that's just the first thing that's coming to mind for me right now, is begin building your list if you haven't already. And my recommendation would be MailChimp, which is free, but even more so if you're into capital raising. There's very few systems out there as robust as ActiveCampaign, and that's really what we actually teach our member, or recommend, I should say, to our members at Raise Masters.
Awesome. So going into content creation a bit, I mean, I know that was the topic for today, but we don't have. I know
I've kind of mentioned a lot of different things now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're like I said, I like to freestyle it a lot, so we don't really have to hone in on content creation, but we can touch into different aspects of your expertise. But for argument's sake, content creation. Can you elaborate or detail a little more the importance of it and how it can be used to effectively form a thought leadership platform?
Document everything, record everything as much as you can. What we're doing right now is a perfect example. Obviously, don't take it to the extreme, like, when you're done with your day, press the record button on your phone and just walk around like recording everything, right? But like when you get an opportunity to record a moment like this, or whether you're speaking to 1 people or 1,000 people, you just never know how you're going to be able to leverage that asset to your benefit in the future. And I heard a really powerful quote from my buddy Adam Gower, and I'm sure he'd be completely fine with me name dropping him. But he's like, marketing is, and for anyone who doesn't know who Adam Gower is, by the way, just go ahead and look him up. Gowercrowd.com. Full shout out to that guy. Very smart. I can see Lawrence like, yep, that's the dude. So Adam Gower goes, marketing is, it's like a good workout, but it's actually even better than a good workout because, when you work out, you have to keep up with your body. You have to keep in shape. With marketing, you could put a great video out 10 years ago, it could still be working for you today. And I was like, man, that's golden. And even more importantly than that, like just don't be afraid to press record. Everybody's got to start somewhere. And quite frankly, what any consumer wants is they want to see the journey. They want to see you go as a creator from start to finish, not, oh, I'm going to wait until everything's perfect, because then it feels fake. And quite frankly, it is kind of fake. Like you want to document as much of the journey as possible from a content creation perspective. And that's my take. I'd love to go deeper, but I'll let you call the next shot.
Sure. So I know content creation is, as you mentioned, is pretty much just recording and documenting everything about, your business, your life, and making it seem personal in a sense, to be able to reach out to relate, to be relatable with your audience. How do you use content creation on social medias to have a wider reach? And what kind of content do you pump out there to make sure that you can retain your audience?
To get a wider reach, there's a few steps I think you got to go through here in the evolution of an entrepreneur. And I say that as if I've even been through a significant amount of them. Like I still feel like I've got so many levels to keep going. But, one major level that I think we can sometimes forget the importance of it or overlook is being able to delegate and outsource your minuscule daily tasks. So like email management, posting on social media, especially when it comes to publishing daily. Man, I got so many ideas coming to my head right now. I'm trying to just make sure I deliver them one at a time. But I'd say social media, my biggest recommendation would be one, if you're just getting started, I would, from what I've seen, and this would be my advice to my younger self, because I didn't take this approach getting started, and I think it could have benefited me more, is I would focus on just one platform until you've like kind of established yourself, and then start branching out to other platforms. We see people like, Grant Cardone and whoever all these big names are, and we think that, oh, he's on TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. We all think that, oh, I got to be just like that too. And we end up driving ourselves crazy because we're not on that level yet. We don't have to be on that level yet when we're getting started. And so I think LinkedIn is what I've found is, you almost can't, if you're looking to build a business, if you focus on LinkedIn as your main social platform, getting started, really hard to fail there from what I've seen, as long as you're consistent. So that would be one piece. And then two, as I mentioned, delegating and hiring virtual talent, which there's so many different places and ways and directions you can go about doing this. I'm blessed to say that I have a pretty decent team behind me. Many people know my assistant, Rena, who does a great job. We've got some people who I once upon a time called interns, and now if anything, they're like, apprentices. They're out there creating their own content with our branding on it. It's incredible. So the reason why I bring that up is being able to publish as consistently as possible, if not daily, is a task that can be done. But man, if you can get a team behind it and get it organized and scheduled, instead of you being the one every day manually posting on all these channels, I mean, you can do it. And I'll be honest, I mean, I have done that and still kind of do it every now and then. I've been doing it for a long time. And once we built out a system, and trust me, it wasn't sexy, right? Like you might mess up a little bit and it might be kind of, just rickety to get started, right? But the main thing is trying to build out a system where someone else is publishing for you, having the confidence to give someone else your login credentials and, your social account. Some might argue, hey, you know what? The personal touch is always best. Don't outsource that. But I got to say, it's worked for us, and you got to look into it. You got to look into hiring some virtual talent or someone besides you to be posting on social media as frequently as possible, I think, if you really want to start getting some massive reach.
Well said. I do agree. Just to give my 2 piece in here, because I I guess I juggle between all these other social media platforms, and I'm big on LinkedIn now, but I try to maneuver through Instagram, Facebook, and sometimes Twitter. But it's very daunting and not daunting. It's very challenging to do it as as a one man shop. So definitely outsourcing is great, and I can already read Mr. Lawrence Laddie's mind. Who, not how. Who, not how. Great
Yes,
book. If you
go read
haven't read it, please go read it. It definitely will change your perspective as far as outsourcing and just getting help. It is
I'll give
very
you guys.
important.
I'll give you guys a little. I mean, for anyone who's not familiar with this website, if you're looking to hire some virtual talent from the Philippines, one website that we've been referring to our members a lot at Raise Masters recently is onlinejobs.ph. P is in Paul, H is in Hippo. Onlinejobs.ph. Very user friendly website. The person who was, I guess I didn't get to give a big enough shout out to Russell Brunson. So the person who's behind that website or who uses it a lot. He was just on the Marketing Secrets podcast. And so I know we just love anything that kind of comes from that direction. So onlinejobs.ph, go check it out. Disclaimer, I'm not saying it's going to fix all your problems, but it's a great resource.
Sweet. So guys, you guys are getting some secret sauce here from tapping into Raise Masters and a lot of stuff that I'm pretty sure we're not privy unless you're a student, and I'm not a student. So, let's take advantage of it. And I want to thank Adam for sharing a lot of these, bits of information and content that can help us, get better in our space. My next question for you, Adam, is well, you did mention that LinkedIn is one of the platforms that you use. But when it comes to content creation, especially in your space, what do you feel what do you feel is the best platform to find and build your ideal avatar and reach your target demographic?
I'm gonna just have to speak to what I've seen and what I know, which is especially the past 6 months working with, again, a lot of our members and clients at Raise Masters. LinkedIn. I honestly, if you said you got to pick one and do it for the rest of your life, guys, you probably already know this, but hit LinkedIn hard. Hit LinkedIn hard. I can't tell you how many success stories. And this is one little hack that you can do too. And I know the GOB network is big. And I know, GOB network, I'm coming for you guys. I'm coming for you guys because we got a bunch of people in here that I know should be in Raise Masters. And I'm trying to get you over the finish line. And you know who you are. And I'm glad this is being recorded because this goes out to everyone in the GOB network that's trying to save $2. Cut it out. Come hang out with me and Raise Masters. But anyways, we were just talking about how much success we had with the Raise Masters 30 days challenge. And the power of doing a challenge with a hashtag on LinkedIn. If you haven't done it, you got two options, really. One, you can create your own. And I think with looking at you guys here with GOB, that's something you're completely capable of doing. But option number two is just go hit up our buddy, Yona Weiss. I'm sure he'll appreciate the shout out, the cost seg king. We actually used Yona to do some cost seg at ASIM Capital, by the way. So if you're looking for someone who's good at what he does, and maybe I'm biased, but working with good people, go to Yona. But LinkedIn, guys, and publishing, I'd say as consistent as possible. If you can publish daily, Mark's probably someone who can validate this for you. You're going to start attracting a lot more attention than you probably ever thought you could. Sometimes at the beginning with LinkedIn, you only get maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 likes. So you start wondering, is anyone even paying attention? But trust me, people are watching. For some reason, people just like to lurk a little bit more on LinkedIn, and that's fine. That's okay. Let them lurk. You just do your thing. I would focus tremendously on LinkedIn, getting as many calls to action as you possibly can in your messaging, whether it's I think I found comment below or shoot me a DM, those types of call to action instead of putting a link in the caption or whatever normally work better. I'll be honest, I am someone who probably puts up too many links in my captions, but I'm not necessarily actively looking for investors on LinkedIn. But from the people that I know who are bringing accredited investors across the finish line, those are some of the tools that they're using. And if you want, you can even go. Look, I'm going to try and give away as many secrets or whatever if you want, if you will, here. So if you guys go on LinkedIn and you just look up the hashtag Raise Masters 30 days, feel free to like look at what we did, comment, create your own challenge. Like we're all about just bringing everyone up to a new level. So I'd say go feel free to go hack our challenge. Go look at what we just did and see what you can learn from it. We just had a lot of people in our group talking about how much their networks have grown from it. And I got to sing it praises. LinkedIn all the way.
So do you recommend users use the free account or the paid account?
Hey, you know what? I have not once paid for LinkedIn Premium. Now that's me. I have heard feedback from a few members that LinkedIn Premium has helped them refine specifically who they're looking for. And again, I'm not I'll just be completely transparent. I'm not actively searching for my own, maybe say for my own endeavors. I'm not looking for high net worth clients or individuals to give me their money right now. So I don't quite know what that looks like. I do know that we had some people who have a free account and some people who don't, both having success. And the ones that are using their LinkedIn like paid version, they've been able to search, doctors in Santa Monica, then this and that. So if you are trying to find a specific demographic, that might actually help you. I just can't speak to it on my own behalf.
Understood. Just a quick shameless plug for you guys. When Adam referred to Yona Weiss, he actually did shoot I think it was a podcast or a webinar, which I was a guest of. I appreciate that. And he Yona actually definitely elaborated on the method of actually getting engagement on your posts on LinkedIn and so forth. So Adam, if I don't recall the episode, but you can feel free to drop it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and watch it. My best multitasking job right here, but I know where I can get it relatively quickly for you. We'll get it in the comments. And then again, for whoever happens to catch this replay, I'd love for you to go check it out. Cause yeah, you talk about getting, putting together a meetup that people, as we said, crave, getting engagement. Yona did a really good job of explaining that. And let's see here.
Definitely was, because I actually use a lot of the methods. I used to post a lot of links on my post, but then when I started not posting links and just putting a question out there, and I started seeing the engagement boosting up. So that's definitely something you guys might want to watch and just copy and paste to your system. It definitely works.
There it is.
So
got it in the comments. There it is.
Sweet. So next question for you, Adam, is what type of content should one post to gain traction? It's a two-part question, but I'll start with that one first.
Yeah. What type of content? I think probably so I'm going to go ahead and assume that whoever it is posting the content has at least, has at least 5 people that they know that are going to listen to what they have to say or are interested in whatever it is that they're doing. So my best advice or my recommendation would be, go to your existing audience, whether it's the 5 people or 10 or 1,000 and however many, and basically ask them what do they want to know? What is it that they know that you have that they want to learn or know more about? And my buddy Austin Linney, who if anyone here is not familiar with Austin, the name of his podcast is Construct Your Life, the Construct Your Life podcast. And back when Clubhouse was popping off, Austin texted me on a Saturday. He's like, hey, you want to host a Clubhouse room real quick? I'm like, sure, why not? And we hop in there, and next thing you know, I mean, he had a decent following. I got to give credit to him. I think we probably had anywhere from like 20 to 30, maybe even 40 people in the room with us. And we're going back and forth and start talking about writing a book. And, I'd say to Austin, I'm like, man, I'd love to write a book, but I don't really know what I would be enough of an expert in to start doing that. And then from the audience, someone that knew both Austin and I and a few other people chimed in after this. They're like, you guys are really good at networking. You guys should write a book on networking in the digital age. And I, virtually kind of looked at Austin. I'm like, did we just get asked to write a book on that? He's like, yeah, we did. He's like, what does everyone else in the room think right now? They're like, yeah, you guys should do it. We'll be the first ones to buy it. We're like, what? All right, cool. There you go. That's an example of being able to flip to or turn to people that know who you are and what you're about. And basically building for them what they want instead of trying to assume what they want and need and maybe getting no engagement or no buyers. So we are writing a book right now, guys. If you want, I'd say we're going to get my contact information here at the end. So be sure to remind me, say, hey, Adam, I want a copy of your book when it's ready. We are taking pre-orders. We're probably still a few months out, but yeah, there you go. That's if you want to know what content you should be creating, take a look at maybe what your reputation is, but also most importantly, listen to the people that are listening to you, following you, and give them what they want.
Well said. Well said. Now, I am a big disciple of Gary Vee, as I'm sure you are.
Yep.
And we know that he posts about 60 plus posts in a day. Now, how often, in your opinion, how often should one push out their content for max results? Because not everyone can do 60 posts a day. I've tried and I failed miserably.
And just take a look at the example that I used with what's his name, Grant Cardone earlier, and how some of us think that we got to be on all these different platforms and doing all these things. Hey, look, Gary Vee, Uncle G, any of these big names, they are on another level than most of us, so they can afford and can do these things. Do anyone out there actually think, if Gary Vee's posting 10 times per day, who here thinks that's actually him doing that? It's not him. He's got team, he's got people in place doing it. So until you're in a position where you can hire people to post multiple times per day for you and look at I'm sure he's looking at the analytics too, right? Like he's not just blindly doing it. He's like, okay, we need to post here, here, and here this many times. So there's levels to this game. So my advice would be, I would challenge everyone out there to publish something daily, once per day for a whole year and see what happens. See what you get out of it. See what works, see what doesn't work. There's a couple references coming to mind for me right now, and I don't want to forget them. But as I mentioned, I really am a big fan of Frank Kern. So anyone, when we're done, if you could shoot me a message and just say, hey, Adam, send me that Frank Kern clip that you have on what videos work best in the marketplace. There's a really good take that he has on that. And then there's a case study from Russell Brunson's show talking about how there's this band that showed up at the same location in the same town every day for a whole year for 365 days. And the first day they showed up, they had 0, 1, 2 people there watching them play live. Fast forward a year, thousands there watching these guys rock out. So what is the message there? The universe just wants to see how dedicated you are. And if you show up every day for a year, maybe at that point you can let your foot off the gas a little bit and kind of control your destiny. But that would be my advice, I think, is, how often should you be posting? I'd say if you can do something once per day for a year, will serve you well.
Awesome. You heard it there, guys. Post something every day. It's effective. People will be on the sideline. People won't jump all at once.
I'd say key word too. I'd like to say something. I know that maybe it sounds a little vague, but it could be a text, audio, video, email. Have you got someone on your team? Have someone on your team post on your website, like just something once per day.
Awesome. Definitely. So let's switch gears very quickly on podcasting. I know you have a very successful podcast. If you can feel free to shameless plug your podcast. And the question behind is, how does one podcast efficiently and effectively to actually get your message across to your target audience and retain them so they don't get bored or unsubscribe?
So to restate the question is, how do you retain your listeners for your show?
Correct. How do you retain them? How do you podcast? How do you build up the platform of podcasting effectively so you can retain your listeners?
I'm going to give you my best answer. But again, before I forget, I got another crazy resource coming to mind for me right now. I'm going to see if I can pull it and put it for you in the comments. You can post it later. But Hunter did a great interview with someone in our space that everyone here probably knows, named Whitney Sewell. And Whitney is the host of the Syndication Show, which is definitely a top podcast in our sector. Man, talk about delivering the goods. This is this should not be free content, but it is. And so here it is. It's in the comments. If you want to learn how to leverage your podcast to just crush it, guys, go check out that interview. So to go back to, basically, I guess my advice or my recommendations come back to how you would get started with your show, foundationally speaking. And by the way, this is like trial and error stuff. These are things that I'm sharing with you that I probably didn't even do myself because I didn't know about them until later. But if you're getting ready to launch a show, you want to get at least, I'd say, 6 episodes in the pipeline, if not more. And then also during your inception phase, someone who's doing a great job with this right now, man, I'm giving all these people shout outs. I think they're all my friends, so I think they'll be okay with it. But like Michael and Susie Barnard, who I actually believe are in this GOB network, so you guys should know them. Michael and Susie had one of the best strategies with launching their podcast, and I think they got a few things from us over at Raise Masters. But being able to pre-record a bunch, release, I think they were doing 1 per day, or that would be my advice. Is within the first 2 to 3 weeks of launching your show, if you can release a show per day, I know it seems like a lot, but that feeds the beast, that feeds the algorithm, and you're gonna gain more traction by posting a lot at the beginning, or just in general. If you don't do it right now, like if you have a show and you maybe post once per month or once per week, if you go on a stint where you just bust out like 10 to 20 episodes over a short period of time, you will see the numbers spike. And so what does that say? I mean, people, the beast loves action. Take massive action, put as much content as you possibly can out there. And I'll use this reference too. And this is a crazy little venture that I'm on right now, and I never would have thought it would happen. But some of you know I've got a sweet tooth for the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, and so I am currently the host of an NFT podcast. That the story on how I got there is I wish I could say it and do it justice, but I would almost say randomly ended up hosting this show, and now I've got this crypto following of anywhere from 20 to a couple hundred people periodically, and I'll just pop up on YouTube and go live. And I got all these people who actually care what I have to say. But the reason why I say that is they love the fact that I'm putting out content consistently. Like, especially right now, I'm on a little kick. Anytime I have free time, for the most time, I'm streaming live on YouTube. You guys go to the Crypto Writer YouTube channel to see crazy shenanigans I've been up to. But I say all this just to go back to what you were asking, Mark, which is like, at the end of the day, people love like content. Just put out as much content as you possibly can. I think once you get to a certain level, you can kind of put it on cruise control and be the driver of your own ship. And if you're really looking to make a long-term play, like if you release a show per week for 5 years or 10 years, like that's going to get you to the finish line too. But if you're looking to grow fast, crank out as much content as you can right now, and then eventually get to a level where you will get to a level where you don't have to keep just cranking it out unless you want to. Does that make sense?
No, definitely does. And just to piggyback off that, Joe Fairless actually is a great example of that. In his book, which I'm currently reading, The Best Ever Apartment Syndication book, he has, I think, 1 or 2 chapters in there that details how he started his podcast and the massive success he got by dropping a podcast a day. So, yeah, and I know Whitney Sewell does the same thing as well, because when I spoke with him, he tells me he records a bunch of podcasts and he just drops one every day. So consistency is a plus. It's definitely a must, and that will help you garner the attention and the platform that you want to build. Now, podcast layout. What are the steps to building out a successful podcast? Should we just grab a mic, start recording, start talking, or should we go through the logistics of getting the website, the name, and so forth? What was your process?
I hope everyone's okay with just being flooded with links and resources, because that's like the first thing that comes to mind for me on all this. Okay, Lauren says cool. All right, I got 1 thumbs up in there. So we recently did an episode on Dream Chasers with my buddy Gresham Harkless and Ryan Awai. Ryan is also a member of the GOB and someone that I'm saying, hey Ryan, come on, let's get these guys over here to Raise Masters. He's like, I'm working on it, Adam. I'm working on it. So anyways, Ryan is the man, and he picked my brain for about an hour with someone else who's a friend of mine who's done 1,100 episodes. That's a really good interview to check out if you're looking for more podcasting ideas. Now that I say all that, I apologize, Marc. I kind of forgot what the question was. So could you restate it so I can give you a focused on the spot answer?
Sure. No worries. So the question was, what are the steps to building out a podcast that garners attention? Should we start with just recording and just start talking, or should we go through the logistics of start getting a website, the name, the logo, etc.?
I'm gonna there's probably a bunch of answers to this, but the one that's coming to mind for me right now is the title of your show, which, again, looking back on it, I mean, I put some thought and everything into like my branding, my title, etc. But again, if like this is advice I would give to younger Adam now, the title of your show is going to set the tone for so many other things. And what I mean by that is, I heard there's a speech out there, and you might have to scour YouTube for it, but there's a guy named Prince EA, and he's been known for like some motivational videos on YouTube and Instagram, and he's had a lot of success. Like I think he's probably got close to 1 million followers, something like that on Instagram. But he's like, everything changed. He's like, everything changed for me when I started thinking through the lens of title creation, from whether it's the name of his show or the titles. And by the way, Marc, every now and then I hear a little bit of a little feedback. But anyways, yeah. So when you can think from the perspective of title creation first, then everything else kind of starts to fall into place. Meaning, with Yona, I reached out to him, and this is not necessarily the title of a show, but I was like, hey, Yona, what would you think about doing a presentation with this title? 7 ways to launch a meetup that people crave. And he's like, oh, that's great. And then boom, like by identifying that title, now you can start filling in the meat on the bones. It's kind of like the skeleton. So you have to think of that same approach with your show or your platform, whatever direction you want to go. I know sometimes it might be kind of hard to figure out what direction you want to go. So maybe you do want to keep it a little bit more non-niche or generic, I guess, like Dream Chasers. But getting that title is going to allow you to let everything else kind of fill itself in. And so I want to give you guys another resource, another tool that I use every day, I think now at this point. It's called sendcheckit.com, and it's the best ever for title creation. And I got it from my buddy Adam Gawa, Dr. Adam Gawa. So anytime I'm creating a title, this is the power of robots, right? You want a computer or a robot to tell you on a scale of 1 to 100 how good your title is, right? Otherwise, you never know. So I play around with sendcheckit.com like crazy. You can probably look through the last few episodes of Dream Chasers and punch some of the titles in there. And if they don't score like a 90 out of 100, then I probably, then it wasn't me who made the title, put it that way. And then capitalizemytitle.com is a nice one too, because, sometimes we just get confused on like what should be capitalized, what shouldn't. But sendcheckit.com, capitalizemytitle.com, putting those together, and then even use the sendcheckit.com for if you're thinking of creating a podcast. That's totally what I would do. I would say, does this computer tell me that my title is a 98 out of 100? All right, cool. Maybe some people might argue against that, but I've just found it to be very effective, especially when it comes to email subject lines too.
Awesome. Thank you for answering that. So I'm pretty much out of questions for now, for the time being. So I know we're at the top of the hour. So I will open up the floor for anyone who has any questions for Adam. Feel free to ask your questions. We'll probably take about 5 minutes to get some questions in, and so we can let Adam go and enjoy the rest of his day.
I see some great names in here too. I gotta say, I see Aaron, Kayla, Khadijah, Lawrence, Ryan, Shamil. I think I heard you talking earlier. Sia, Angel Williams, what's up? And Aaron, I hope Marc's not stealing all the goods from you, man. I know I'm coming to speak at your meetup soon.
Oh, don't worry about it. I got some different questions to ask you, man. So don't worry about it. But I was going to joke with you and say, man, how many friends and buddies you have, man?
At least 10, right? That's how many we got here in this room.
So yeah, I'm not going to ask you a lot because I definitely got some things hanging up, man. But what is your goal now with moving forward with your with your young guys? Like, what is your goal for them for the future?
Yeah, that shows you you really know me, man. So I appreciate that. When you say my young guys, I'm gonna let me clarify. You're talking about like April and Aaron who are building out the mastermind. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that link here too, so that way people can see. Actually, hold on. Well, as I do that, so April Munson and Aaron Eiler are two of my I'd just say apprentices at this point. They've both learned how to podcast. They started off as interns, right? But now they're much more. They know how to podcast. They've built their own mastermind. And I guess I'm kind of just here to help guide them and help them in all that they do. But basically, their mastermind is a platform for young professionals to come and get connected with successful business leaders, entrepreneurs in particular, maybe even more focused in commercial real estate because that happens to be where I'm at. So a lot of the people they meet are in this space. But basically, you know, April, someone who will say she didn't know that after finishing college, she's a mother of two. She didn't know after finishing college that she'd be able to completely provide for herself by working from home. She thought she was going to have to go out and get an office job and just do this, you know, type of rat race thing. She didn't realize what was possible. And so same with Aaron, and Aaron's still in school. However, their mission is to let more young professionals know how much control they have over their future if they get plugged into the right people. And so, yeah, Ground Zero is the name of their mastermind. And I know they're really looking forward to what's next, especially since the school year is right around the corner. So let me get their link to the webinar that they did. And yeah, all their information is in this presentation. So highly recommend anyone tuned in to go get in touch with Aaron in April if any of that resonates with you. And Mark knows them.
Call that too.
Shameless plug, guys. I was actually on Dream Chasers Ground Zero, so please go support, listen to it. Listen, those guys are awesome. Especially Aaron. I haven't had a talk with April as of yet, so I had to schedule that. But Aaron is a very down-to-earth guy, very humble and hungry. So he reminds me a lot of myself. And we connected very well. So, you know, just subscribe and go listen to their content, guys. It is amazing. And I don't preach or put out anything that I don't believe in, and I believe in what they're doing. Any other questions from anybody else?
Yes. Hey, Adam, thank you again, man. Great. Awesome. I'm taking my page is filled up. I got 20 other pages.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Thank you. Yes. So what is the when you do a podcast, what is the time limit you should put on a podcast?
I used to bootstrap a lot, meaning I would do the scheduling. Like I didn't have scheduling automated for a while. So I mean, that's one huge step to save you a lot of time is get a Calendly or a Schedule Once. I prefer Schedule Once, but either one works. So I would do the scheduling, I would do the recording, the editing. Now, I did learn how to use Adobe Audition in college, university, so I'm pretty familiar with it. And it was something where I felt like I could probably do a better job than paying someone to do it at a certain point in time. Although, as I mentioned, you know, we continue to all grow and get better. And so I hit a level where I'm like, man, it's not worth my time to be doing this anymore. And quite frankly, it probably wasn't worth my time for a while. And I was shortchanging myself without realizing it. And so you want to, obviously, I'd say the end goal is get to a point where all you got to do is show up and speak. You probably want to spend, I'd recommend no more than 2 or 3 hours on a weekly basis doing any form of recording, depending on how much content you want to put out there. And then, you know, identifying the team is definitely something that just takes time, trial and error. I do happen to know that there's a service out there. I think it's called Streamline Podcasts. I know a few people that work with them that have said some good things. I know some people who have maybe, you know, use them and then use another service. And unfortunately, I don't have all the services off the top of my head. But if you're looking for an affordable way, oh man, what is it? Oh, there's one. Let me I'm gonna find it. It's actually, here you go, guys. It's somewhere in my Raise Masters email. I'm gonna give you guys another Raise Masters gem. But Streamline Podcast is the first one coming to mind. And if you're looking to save time, I guess that's a roundabout way of answering your question, Lawrence, is start with the end in mind, figure out, okay, how am I gonna do this where all I gotta do is show up and talk and everything else takes care of itself. And like, trust me, for me included, because I'm still not exactly where I want to be, but it takes time and we're getting close to it. And so just begin with the end in mind. How do I get it? So all I got to do is show up and talk, because that's probably what everyone in here is best at doing. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be in here. But yeah, that's that's my advice. And let me find that other podcast like service for you guys while the next question comes through.
Thank you.
So we have one half of the power couple who's going to ask a question, Mrs. Sia Senior.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. Hi, Adam. So this is my
Hey.
first time here, Mark, and I'm excited to be in the session. So, and this is a great session to join. So thank you. I've learned a lot. Like I have a lot of notes, and I came in late, so that's awesome.
I just found the one, by the way, Podetize, I believe is it.
Podetize. Okay, good. I have two questions for you. And the first one has to deal with the LinkedIn. I just got on there and just trying to get an idea about how to naturally grow the network, because for me, I wasn't sure if that was going to be the place where, I'm doing multifamily, we're in real estate full time. And for me, it seems difficult to get out of the circle where I see the same people that I know. And so you mentioned people, going after doctors and things like that. And I'm thinking it's similar to Facebook, where if I don't know you, why would I friend you or accept you or whatever it is that you do on LinkedIn? So I'm curious as to how that happens, where it's not so stalker-ish and weirdish. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what LinkedIn is like. I remember LinkedIn being, honestly, when it first came out, like a place where people went to get a job. So it seems like it's transitioned from that to something different. So how do you, especially in our field of real estate, and if we're looking for limited partners or even investors or joint venture and partners, how do you, use LinkedIn and do it in a natural way that doesn't seem so weird? And that's the first part. And then the second part is in terms of, posting. And you said, that some people rather do it by themselves. Some people rather use assistants or things like that. How do you keep the authenticity of yourself and your voice if you use someone that's not you? So those are my two questions.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to take a stab at the first one here, which is basically, in a nutshell, how do you make LinkedIn natural? And one, not salesy, and two, kind of break through the stigma, which is once upon a time it was known as a place where you don't make a lot of noise and you just go there for jobs, which I think your summary is pretty accurate. At least for, I said, a lot of the familiar faces I've seen in here, they've started to realize, like, yeah, maybe some people might not like it, but LinkedIn is kind of turning into business, Instagram business, right? That's pretty much what it is. So, and my buddy Sam Miller gave a great reference one time where he's just like, if you want to take a view at how everything's becoming digitized, just think of LinkedIn as like the local business conference center. That's, it's what used to be a conference center in real life is now just in digital form, and it's open 24/7. So do what you will with it. First of all, Sia, I would say, I just put it in the comments, and this goes for everyone here, but please, everyone, add me and connect with me on LinkedIn if we're not already connected. I would love to help, follow up and point you in the right direction, especially since we got, a nice, cool little group here. It's not like we got hundreds of people flying through. So one day this meetup will have that many, but for now, guys, just reach out to me. But yeah, I think I'm going to go back to the reference I had earlier, which is Yona Weiss does a great Kickstart program. It's basically a LinkedIn Kickstart program. I would befriend him, shoot me or him a message. Well, like I said, shoot me a message, but I know Jonas, he's just so giving that if you said, hey, I heard Adam on a meetup talk about your challenge, can you put me in touch? I'd be shocked if you got ghosted. Let's put it that way. So reach out to him. And then there's other ways to go about it. It might seem like the same old talking heads, but that's also a thing where we just got to remember to think big picture. A lot of us who have taken this commitment of going out there and posting maybe on LinkedIn daily, and don't stress yourself out, by the way, either. Daily could just be Monday through Friday, right? You don't worry about the weekends unless you want to. But we feel like it's just us and it's the same people over and over and over and over and over again. But I can tell you this. I have a lot of people in my network from my alma mater, Westminster College, which is how I met April and Aaron, who I referenced earlier. For whatever reason, 99% of the people on LinkedIn, or so it seems, will not say a word. And there's been people that I went to school with and that I've connected with who tell me they see my stuff on LinkedIn, and I won't say it to their face, but in my head, I'll be thinking, it'd be nice if you could throw me a like. I didn't know you saw it. Thanks for telling me, but I didn't even know you were there. So it's if you ever feel lonely on LinkedIn or you're seeing the same people, I'd say just know that you're more than likely probably doing quite all right. Just keep pushing, just keep posting. And then when it comes to Facebook, that is a tough one because Facebook is starting to turn a little bit more into LinkedIn from what I've seen. I kind of get turned a certain way when, like, LinkedIn, I don't care if it's someone I don't know if they add me, but on Facebook, I really want to know how is this lead coming through, because Facebook has also been a little bit more spammy. Like, you can actually get like some kind of like weird like hackers on Facebook. So I don't know. Facebook's a little iffy, but what I would recommend, if anything, if you want to do something on Facebook, I put my Facebook group in there. Now, feel free, anyone, to add me as a friend on Facebook as well. But Facebook groups, low hanging fruit. I think, Facebook's been around for, I don't know how long, probably almost 20 years now. I've only seen, that I can remember, one commercial on TV for Facebook ever. And it was actually within the past 6 months, and it was for Facebook groups. So I'm going to think, if a company is big and as powerful, whether we like it or not, as Facebook, if they're going to put money into marketing and they're putting it towards Facebook groups, it's probably going to be a good place to be hanging out for the time being. So build a group, build a community. If you haven't started doing that, highly recommend.
I will definitely chime in on that. In reference to Yona Weiss, I'm not sure if he still does it, but he has done the CRE 10-day challenges, and I actually partook in that. And in the beginning, it was very slow. Probably get 1 or 2 views, but as you keep posting content, and especially if you're posting something that someone might not have never known, or they're interesting, it piques their interest, you'll start seeing the views and the comments come in, to the point now I'm just getting crazy views on some of my content. So Yona Weiss is the way to go. If there's any 2 people that you need to know on LinkedIn, we have one here, Adam and Yona. Those 2 are like they're your gold. They're gold. So
thank you, Mark.
Please feel free to add them and follow them, ask questions, and they are gold givers. Anyone else have any? You're welcome.
Thank you, Sia.
Anyone else have
those
any
are some
questions?
good questions. Those are good
Definitely
questions.
was, yes.
Hey, Adam, are you still on Clubhouse? You still have that Clubhouse room, or you changed it up? Because
Great question. I think
about your partner. I hurt my heart, man, when he stopped doing 2 o'clock on Fridays, man.
So I'm happy that's a little bit of an elephant in the room right now as far as Clubhouse, the hype that it had and where it's at now. And Aaron, trust me, it kind of, when I know you were showing up to our stuff consistent, man. So not only did it break your heart, man, it broke my heart, because I was like, man, I know Aaron was our guy. Like, he was the dude who would show up no matter what every week. So I appreciate your energy. And yeah, I mean, we kind of looked at the scenario and the environment, and we noticed there was a significant decline in Clubhouse's usage, to the point where it didn't make sense for us to invest our time there, meaning Hunter and I. However, I do still spend some consistent time on Clubhouse, and I want to give everyone an opportunity to join in on this now that I think about it. So every Tuesday, and I'll be honest, I'm not in it every Tuesday, but I'd say at least 55 to maybe, 2/3 of the time I'm there. We do a room from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'll go ahead and scour my inbox for this link here to you guys, just give you everything I can. 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday, we do a blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin, basically, Clubhouse session. And it's been so cool because we have some people in there who are very knowledgeable in the space. I'd say myself included, but Adam Locke, who's a really good friend of mine now out of the Pittsburgh area, he runs a Bitcoin hedge fund. My friend Jim Morales, who's Grant Cardone's CFO, who's basically one of the main people who runs this room. A few other people that some of us may know here, Adapia DeRico, Michael Flight, as I mentioned, of libertyfund.io. There's some very influential people in this group that meets, and it's a great space where I'm starting to see commercial real estate professionals and cryptocurrency and blockchain professionals can overlap and help bridge that gap, because I think we have a lot of people in the commercial real estate space. From a technology perspective, just in general, real estate is normally one of the slowest moving sectors when it comes to adopting new things. And so if you're looking to get ahead of the game, and for lack of a better term, when it comes to technology and maybe how blockchain works, this is a great portal for you where you can come in and be surrounded by other commercial real estate professionals, but also start learning what the heck is going on with this Bitcoin stuff. What is this Bitcoin nonsense? Like, what is it? There's a lot of people just not understanding it. So it's a great resource to just get, I guess you could say, indoctrinated, or however you want to look at it, and also hang out with great people. So I'm going to go ahead and find that link for you, Mark, and go on with the next question while I do that.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions for Adam? Angel, no questions? Wow.
Angel, I know you got something for me. How you doing? Angel? If you can't unmute, that's fine. It's good to see you. I see you always liking my stuff on LinkedIn. I appreciate it.
Khadijah and Shamil, any questions? I take the silence as a no.
All good. Hey, all good if we don't. I know we went through a lot today. There's a lot to catch up on, to say the least.
Definitely. Well, I mean, we're 20 minutes over the hour, so I just want to say, Adam, thank you for again jumping on, man. It's a pleasure for you giving us a lot of golden gems and sharing a lot of information. Again, I'm always learning something different from you, man. And as soon as I learn it, I'll apply. And I have this mantra that whenever Adam Carswell call, I have to answer. So I appreciate you, jumping on. And again, if I've never told you this, I appreciate you helping me find my voice, because if it wasn't for you, I probably would not be doing any of this. I'm more of a, behind the scene background kind of guy, unseen and not heard. But you've definitely opened a world of opportunities for me. And I don't think I've said it, but if I have it, thank you, sir, for, just pulling something out of me that I did not know I had. So thank you again. You are an awesome guy. Guys, like I said, follow, ask questions. Adam is a true definition of a go-giver. He will definitely, answer any questions you have and lead you to, just greener pastures, so to speak.
Thank you, Mark. Honor being here. I think probably the most, let me just kind of start with you saying how you're behind the scenes kind of guy. I think everyone here can hopefully chuckle with me and say, this dude ain't behind the scenes anymore. Look at him. He's running this meetup. Everybody give it up for Marc Cesar. And he's also now he's moving with his family. This whole moving process that he's going through to North Carolina to be in such a great position for this sector is impressive. So I applaud you, and I'm sure this thing is going to expand for you even more, this meetup, once you get down there. And I just, this is a nice little hack for anyone out there who's presenting. I think I got it from my buddy. Who's a good guy to get connected with on LinkedIn now as well. One more name for you guys, Joe Apfelbaum. A-O-E, and I might even met Yona through this guy, Apfel, B-A-U-M. He's really good at just LinkedIn marketing in general, maybe not commercial real estate, but I learned from his webinars, when you name drop people, when people hear their name, and we probably already knew this, but anyway, I'll say it again, you release a little bit of dopamine when you hear a name, when someone calls you out. So I'm going to release a little dopamine for everyone here. And I apologize because I think I did butcher some names earlier, but I just want to thank every single person in this room, from Mark to Aaron, Khadijah, Lawrence, you the man, Ryan, AKA Ruby is his nickname in our friend group. What's up, dude? Shamil, Sia, Angel, all amazing people. I'm just so grateful to have you guys hanging out with Mark and I tonight, and look forward again to seeing you on LinkedIn. And by the way, the ultimate call to action, go to raisemasters.com and register for our upcoming webinar. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And with that, I will say good night to everyone, and the recording will be posted in the next few days. Again, thank you for jumping on Financial Freedom Through Apartment Investing with our special guest, Adam Carswell, and I bid you guys adieu.
Thank you. Thank you once again for investing your most valuable resource with us here today, your time. If you enjoyed today's episode, please drop a 5-star rating and a review below. Take a screenshot of it and send it over to nextlevel@carswell.io. we have a present for you. We really appreciate you guys leaving those reviews because it really helps with the overall SEO and visibility of the show and allows us to continue to bring on high quality guests. So once again, thank you. And remember, take it to the next level.